Sadly, Georgia Tech football has really fallen off a cliff as of late. When Paul Johnson retired, there was optimism that Jeff Collins could come in and bring a new style of offense and bring the Yellow Jackets into a new era of football. Unfortunately, it has not gone as planned, and they've been very forgettable, very bad, and there's not a lot of hope. The boosters want to pull the plug on Collins, fans have lost interest, and many teams have forgot how good Georgia Tech used to be. There was one player earlier this decade that everyone remembers who took over the college football world for 1 year and helped Georgia Tech have their best season in recent memory. His name was Justin Thomas. He was a superstar, a dark horse Heisman candidate, and one of the best triple option quarterbacks of all time. Many wonder whatever happened to him, so in today's video, we're going to talk about the rise and fall of Justin Thomas, go through his journey, his special time at Georgia Tech, and what ultimately happened to him. So, without further ado, let's get started. In order to understand what went wrong for Justin Thomas, we first need to go back in time. He was born in the great state of Alabama and would blow up in a town called Prattville. He was always athletic from a young age and took an extreme liking to the quarterback spot. He was a natural athlete, a natural leader, and someone who worked his tail off. That's why he saw a ton of success and started to blow up midway through his high school career. He started to gain offers from lower level schools, but eventually he started to get high profile offers. One came from in-state school Alabama, and he decided he was going to commit there. He stayed home and became part of the Crimson Tide, but him and Coach Saban disagreed on where. Nick saw Thomas as a defensive back, while Thomas saw himself as a quarterback. Yes, he was a gifted athlete, but the Alabama quarterback room was stacked, and many people believed that he was not going to be good enough to play for them at that spot. It seemed like a nice fit for him, but there'd be major disagreements. Prattville head coach had this to say, quote, "Justin wants to play quarterback, and he's looking at some other places." Alabama was very honest with him and upfront. I think it's a good thing, and there was not hidden agendas by anybody. They were wanting him to play defensive back, and he was wanting to play quarterback. Justin also wanted to play right away, which meant he would need to change his commitment. So, he went to another conference and flipped to Georgia Tech. ESPN recruiting analyst Tom Luginbill had this to say, quote, "Not only did he make the right move, but it's the right move for everybody. He had no chance to play quarterback at Alabama. He needed to be a zone read or a triple option type quarterback. Everyone in the world thought he would move positions, but he was not sold on that, and his high school coach also backed him up and said that Justin Thomas was a quarterback. He said, quote, "The kid wants to play quarterback, and I stand behind him. He's been honest with everyone, and he's a tremendous player, and he's gifted at that position." While him and Alabama did disagree, they did end on good terms. The coach once again said, quote, "Alabama did everything by the book. They understood where he was, and he understood where they were. Everyone was honest, and they waited until the state championship game was over to tell him their intentions so he could focus on the year. As a high school coach, I applaud them because they saved me many distractions. Everyone left on good terms." I can't find a single article talking about Thomas's commitment to Georgia Tech, but he must have liked Paul Johnson, the opportunity to play, and the style of system. Fun fact, in high school, he had a backup by the name of Jalen Whitlow, and he eventually got high major offers and settled on Kentucky. It's just like the Kyle Trask year at King situation, where the backup got big time offers as well. Thomas was extremely successful at Prattville as he threw for 1,652 yards and 13 touchdowns through the air, and also was dominant on the ground. He led Prattville High School to a Class 6A state championship, and they won 35-34 over Hoover. The Lions had set a school record that year by scoring 574 points, and they won 12 games. This was huge, and he was also a huge deal on the recruiting trail. According to 24/7 Sports, he was a 4-star player, the number 9 athlete, and the 145th best player in the class of 2012. He was now headed to Georgia Tech, a school not known for producing big-time quarterbacks, but he had all the hype in the world, and maybe he'd make it work. But when would he play? When Justin Thomas arrived at Georgia Tech, he was immediately named the starter. There was obviously a lot of hype to this, but right before his first career start, he was not fazed. He said, quote, "It's no big deal. I'm just as big as anyone out there. I'm 190 pounds. It's all the same. I'm just going out there to play football, something I've been doing since I was a little kid. I am ready." He really wouldn't play a whole lot in 2013, as he only scored 3 total touchdowns. The Yellow Jackets went to the Music City Bowl, where they lost to Ole Miss. 2014 was going to be Thomas's big year, as now the hype had begun. Against Wofford, he had a breakout game with nearly 400 total yards and 2 touchdowns against Wofford. He had 5 touchdowns against Georgia Southern, and 2 touchdowns in a huge road victory over Virginia Tech. The following week, they would beat Miami before they would lose to Duke. That was the breakout season for the Blue Devils, and the bleeding would not stop as they lost the following week to North Carolina as well. But Thomas would get it together as he'd help them beat NC State, and then they'd beat number 19 Clemson 28-6. This was a major victory for them, but they have one more test. They go on the road and play against number 9 Georgia, and they would win a major rivalry game. Thomas would have one score, and they would beat the Bulldogs 30-24. This got them to the ACC championship game, and if they could just win that, they would have been the best story of the 2014 season. Unfortunately, they lost 37-35 to the number 4 Seminoles, and Thomas's interception proved to be costly. It was still good enough to get Georgia Tech to a bowl game, where they would play against number 7 Mississippi State, who was the other breakout team of the year, led by Dak Prescott. In that matchup, Justin Thomas would run for 4 touchdowns, and they'd end up beating the Bulldogs 49-34. Thomas was one of the best stories and one of the best breakout players in the country, and he passed for 1,700 yards with 18 touchdowns, and also ran for 1,000 yards on the ground with 8 scores. Georgia Tech didn't have the most high-flying offense or the most high-octane offense in the nation, so putting up those numbers was pretty insane. Because of that, there was obviously a ton of hype going into the 2015 season, but it would not go very well. Georgia Tech won their first 2 games, but then they went on a losing stretch. They lost 9 of their next 10 games, and while most of them were close, this was extremely disheartening. Thomas did alright, but he really blamed all the losses on himself and took it extremely hard. Head coach Paul Johnson had this to say about his struggle. I think he got frustrated real easily. I think anytime you've played at a high level like he had the year before, people don't realize how difficult it is and how good those kids he lost were. Hopefully, 2016 would be a bounce-back season for him, and it was. While they got off to a 3-3 start, Thomas helped them win 4 of their last 5 regular season games, including another victory over their rival Georgia on the road. That was year 1 of the Kirby era, and ever since then, the Bulldogs have dominated the Yellow Jackets. Thomas helped them get to the Tax Slayer Bowl, where in his final collegiate game, he helped them beat Kentucky 33-18, as he had 1 touchdown. Thomas had his second best season as a Yellow Jacket, as he passed for nearly 1,600 yards with 8 touchdowns and another 600 yards and 6 touchdowns on the ground. He definitely helped put Georgia Tech football on the map, and ever since then, as I've said, they have fallen off completely. Thomas got the nickname Smooth, and he wrapped up his college career with 7,000 total yards. 4,700 of those came by passing, and 2,400 came by rushing, and he had 62 total touchdowns and only 8 interceptions. His best season by far came in 2014, as he led them to an 11-3 record. He started all 14 games, and he had 26 total touchdowns in 5 100-plus yard rushing games. They had beaten Virginia Tech, Miami, Georgia, and Clemson along the way, and that season was extremely memorable. Unfortunately, Thomas's game was not going to translate to the NFL though. He would end up going undrafted and would later sign with the New Orleans Saints. He'd play both defensive back and wide receiver, but he was waived in late July. Then he'd go over to the Rams and the Steelers before he eventually left the NFL. He joined the Alliance of American Football in 2019 and was a part of the Atlanta Legends, but that did not last long either. Eventually, he was picked by the DC Defenders in the 2020 XFL Draft, but that season did not last and he was released during minicamp anyways. It seems that Justin Thomas was never going to be a fit in the NFL, as he played in a college system that is extremely outdated in the pros. He's also never a great passer, as he was definitely more of a dynamic threat, but he is extremely memorable to college football fans. He's by far the best Georgia Tech quarterback in recent memory, and it's really sad to see how the program has fallen off. Hopefully Jeff Collins or a new coach can fix it, but in the meantime, Justin Thomas was an awesome talent. That 2014 season was very memorable, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to smash that like button, let me know your thoughts down below, let me know who I should do next, and check out all my other videos on the end screen. I hope to see you guys again soon, but until next time, peace.